It'll be a hell of a lot worse than Pearl Harbor. The world has changed. So, friends, you're going to have to be your own first responders. And don't bet on a repetition of Normandy, because if we try to move hundreds of thousands of troops across the Atlantic and the Pacific, they're going to be sunk.
Is that for all countries? All countries, Governor?
Yeah.
I mean,
we just have to tell them, look, you're going to have to defend yourselves. We'll help you to the extent that we can, but we cannot do what has happened in the past because technology has changed. And of course, we have economic constraints. So that's number one. All right. Number two, I think, is we're going to secure the borders, and I'm going to invoke the Insurrection Act, and I'm going to put the United States Army in charge of rounding up and deporting these people. Now, why? Because that's what happened after the stock market crash in 29. And Herbert Hoover turned to the Army and said, we've got to deport people. We deported 9 million Mexicans. Now, we did not deport them because we didn't like them. That had nothing to do with it. And in those days, it wasn't anything to do with criminality. The reason was very simple. People were losing jobs. We were going into a depression. People that are not Americans are holding jobs that normally Americans would not do. But when it becomes clear that they need the money, you're damn right, they're going to do it. And I don't want these people punished or threatened or harmed because they're now doing jobs that Americans need. So that's what we did. We did another 3.5 million under FDR, another 2.1 million under Truman, another 1.3 million under Eisenhower. It was not personal. It was for the reasons I just outlined. Remember that Eisenhower spent all of his time trying to contract the budget because we were heavily in debt. And the people in the Pentagon hated Eisenhower because he kept slashing the military budget. You know, Kennedy comes in 1960, and he promises a giant army, which Eisenhower felt was not a good idea. And his reason he felt that way is he didn't want the army used overseas again on the scale of World War II. Well, what did we do with this giant army that we built for use against the Soviets in Europe? We sent it to Vietnam. Catastrophe. So I guess what I'm saying is that those two things are very, very important. And, you know, if you can do those things, then I think the third thing is that you're going to have to address entitlements. You're going to have to come clean with the American people. Everybody is not going to get the Social Security that they were promised. We're going to have to come up with another way. So if you're over the age of 60 or 50 or 70, whatever they decide to do, you get your Social Security payments. All the rest of you people, it's not coming, and we're going to have to do something else. And we've got to come up with a different way to provide medical care, health care. You know, a friend of mine is Finnish, and he's lived here for years. And he said to me, Doug, he said, why is it that the people in Finland or Sweden or Denmark or Germany or any of these places can provide pretty good health care, excellent health care, and they spend a fraction of what we do? I said, well, I don't know. And we're back to your friend Elon and Doge. Mm-hmm. And of course, Elon was about as popular as the plague, as we all know. No one, remember, if you go to the Hill in Washington, and I've done this, and I've said to Senator Congress, well, what do you do here? And they look at you and smile and say, we spend money. I mean, that's what they do.
Right, precisely.
And if they don't spend money, they don't profit. They don't get contributions. They don't get rich. Do they need to spend all that money? Well, their constituents demand it. If I tell my constituents I'm eliminating this base or I'm eliminating this subsidy, then I'm going to be out of office. Well, I'm sorry, but it has to happen. This is what happens when you have large nation states of any kind, regardless of the governmental form. And eventually, what do you end up with? You end up with Caesar or Bonaparte. Bonaparte took over, and what's the first thing that Bonaparte did when he finally became the first consul in France? He said, the revolution is over. And everybody said, oh, thank God the revolution is over. Nobody could do it. This is what happens. You end up with an authoritarian leader who does all of the things that can otherwise not be done. And I'm afraid that's the direction in which our country is headed. At some point, all of the noise has to stop. I mean, Adolf Hitler was not wildly popular. He only had about a third of the electorate behind him. But when he took over and he ended all of the fights in the streets, when he crushed all the criminal activity, shut down the drugs in Berlin, shut down the houses of prostitution, everybody said, well, thank God. I think that's where we're headed.
Colonel Macgregor, if there is a God, if there is some form of justice, you will run for something. I will pledge. I know. I had to ask.
I'm not going to run for anything except the men's room, so.
Well, listen, I want to thank you, sir. I want to thank you for your wisdom. Thank you for your genius. You have done more. Do you understand? I'm going to leave you with this. Do you have any idea of what you have done, sir? At long last, this is the opposite of the McCarthy thing. At long last, do you know how popular, how you have invigorated and enlivened and focused an entire generation of people who would have never listened to any of this stuff? You are sui generis. There is nobody like you. I'm sorry. I'm the platitudes. You must listen to me. I can't thank you enough. You are one of a kind, my friend, and it is an honor. Please allow me to speak again after you've and no more papers, please. Just save your time. No more papers. But thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you, Lionel. Nice to meet you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.